Today, we're diving into two of the most fascinating and frankly terrifying figures from the architecture of stagnation, the uncanny Jester and the red Specter. See, they show up in a world that has absolutely perfected the look of life, but has completely forgotten what it means. And their roles, well, they're as much about mercy as they are about horror. All right, here's how we're going to break this down. First, we need to set the stage to really understand this decaying kingdom they inhabit. Then, we'll meet our two main players, the Jester and the Specter. After that, we'll put them head to head to really see how their very different roles fit together. And we'll wrap it all up with how their grim, destructive work is somehow presented as a final, profound act of grace. So first things first, this kingdom of wax. Before we can ever get a handle on the saviors, we have to understand the sickness, the disease they've come to cure. And it's all rooted in something called the Pharisees' paradox. Just picture it. A society that looks perfect. It looks beautiful and orderly from the outside, but it's totally, completely empty on the inside. It's all just for show, No substance. That right there is the heart of the architecture of stagnation. And this is the real kicker. The paradox is that everyone is a master of going through the motions of being alive, but they've completely lost the feeling. They've made a trade. They've swapped real, chaotic, messy existence for the safety of what the text calls a gilded cage. A beautiful prison, sure, but a prison all the same. Okay, so into this hollow world steps our first figure. And he's not there to change it, not at all. He's just there to hold up a mirror. This is the uncanny Jester, the instrument of truth. Now, the Jester is no hero, at least not in any way we'd recognize. His power isn't in what he does, it's in what he doesn't do. He's this perfect, unflinching mirror, just reflecting the kingdom's own decay right back in its face. So how does he pull this off? Well, he doesn't fight, he doesn't build, he just negates, he reveals. His very presence is described as a philosophical acid that just dissolves all the polite lies, exposing the big empty void that society is trying so hard to pretend isn't there. He offers the blight of revelation, acting as a surgeon of the silence and a silent witness to their fundamental error of existence. And that, of course, brings us to the Jester's brother, the red Specter. Think of it like this. If the Jester is the one holding up the X-ray that shows you the disease in stark black and white, the Specter is the one who calmly picks up the scalpel. He is the architect of dismantlement. So the Specter takes the Jester's diagnosis and actually begins the treatment. But this treatment isn't about healing in any normal sense. No, it's this radical, honestly terrifying process of taking everything apart, of deconstruction. The goal is to end the sickness of individuality itself. The Specter's whole approach is active, it's almost industrial. He sees our sense of self, our individuality, as the fundamental flaw, a fractured mirror. And to fix it, he uses a fire of dismantlement to systematically burn away the ego, kicking off a return to the inorganic. The endgame is the total absence of the self. All right, let's put these two side by side, because when you see them in contrast, their distinct but deeply connected roles in this whole philosophical drama become crystal clear. This right here just nails their core dynamic. The Jester, he's the diagnostician. His whole job is to reveal the truth, to force the kingdom to see that it's sick. But the Specter, he's the surgeon. His job is to act on that truth and cut out the disease, even if that means the patient doesn't survive the operation. And get this, they're both called a surgeon of the silence. But look at their tools. They're wildly different. The Jester uses a philosophical acid to melt away falsehoods. The Specter uses a fire of dismantlement to literally burn away the self. So one reveals the void, the other returns you to it. This table just lays it all out, doesn't it? You've got the passive witness versus the active surgeon. The Jester sees the void as this eternal gravity, just pulling everything back home. The Specter sees it as a quiet unity that needs to be engineered. But in the end, their goals are really two sides of the same coin. One exists to expose the lie of a hollow life, and the other exists to enact the truth of a peaceful death. So where is all this heading? What's the end game? Well, let's look at their final combined purpose, because it's not presented as an execution. It's framed as this moment of profound grace, an eclipse of identity. And this is the big reveal, the crucial twist in their story.
Their combined role isn't destruction just for destruction's sake. No, they're reframed as midwives. They're not assisting a soul in its birth into being, but in its rebirth, into the absolute peace of nothingness.
Their ultimate offering is called the Crimson Gift, and what it is an end to the struggle. It's a merciful release from what's called the agonizing tension of being separate, of having to constantly maintain an individual self in a world that has no meaning. It's basically an invitation to just let go. And this shows the whole process not as some violent, horrible end, but as this graceful, step-by-step release. The gift is offered, the struggle just stops, and the soul finds a kind of homecoming in the industrial perfection of the abyss, a profound peace that can only be found in the total absence of self. And that leaves us with this really challenging final thought. In a world that's built on hollow rituals and polite lies, a world where life itself has just become a performance, maybe the greatest act of salvation isn't to try and fix it. Maybe it's to help it find its final, quiet peace in the silence. Is taking it all apart really an act of mercy?